What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of DAimpact Zone, or whatever you want to call it. Alongside me, once again, as always for this show, is the MJF to my anyone else. It's Max. What's going on, Max?
Well, hold on. I'm here.
Right.
So you can't call me MJF yet.
Hey, fair enough.
As you can tell, I'm outside of T-Mobile Arena. So if MJF doesn't show for the pay-per-view, I'm just going to run out there and see what happens. So.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I was going to say what a coup it would be if we ever had a chance. But if money is the end game, it's not in our favor. We have a lot to talk about, guys. Obviously, this is episode 2. If you're tuning in right after the podcast, there's some stuff we're going to hit on that I want to ask Max, of course, see his opinion on it. But first, I want to get into the feedback here. It's been really positive, so thank you, guys. This is the first version of it as its own entity. So we're going to keep rocking with it. It'll be 9:15 every Sunday night, live premiere on YouTube right after the main flagship show. So keep checking it out. Keep those thumbs up. Keep the likes up. Keep the hearts, all that stuff. With that being said, one of our, I won't say biggest fans because that sounds, but one of our buddies of the show since pretty long, always rocked with us, always wrote us after every show, Chris Saletta, I hope I'm saying that right, buddy, wrote us and said, where's Rush? Where's Rush in the top 25? Do you have a rebuttal for that before?
Yeah, I think in the process of us trying to figure out who was all free agents, we just forgot about them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what it comes down to. We said it last time, and we'll say it again, and we'll say it every time. This is not just like Dave's ratings. These mean nothing. These are just our opinions based on a few things that, 5 things in particular that we'll actually go into more in depth. But if you have any comments, concerns, anything, let us know. We're willing to change and willing to look into it. But once again, this is our opinions based on the needs or, well,
I'm not even sure if he was on the list that we had. Like, we found the list on a website, and like the website had was he? Because I know they had Scorpio Sky, or not Scorpio Sky, Too Cold Scorpio, but I wasn't sure if they actually had him on there.
No, they had him on there. I think it just in the shuffle of things.
Things got
and
missed.
A bunch of different people voting. I think it just happened. But yeah, thanks Chris for that. Always a true friend of the show, which we love, and keep them coming. But as far as YouTube comments, I actually have something that I talked about on the show just now. And I want to get your opinion on it because it is something that you pulled up in one of your spotlights last episode. But this is about Windham, Bray Wyatt up there, who we ranked as our top one for many different reasons. But here's the question that he had, Darker Sides 22. Windham is probably the only person that would be able to improve Impact's viewership on a consistent basis. That said, I don't know if it would be large enough viewership for Impact to sign him. So first, your thoughts on that as far as, we touched on that a little bit in regards to Windham being brought in and what we could get for the price it would probably cost to do so.
Yeah.
But to answer his question, and it's good that he's looking bigger pictures, or her, whoever that is, looking bigger picture, but what are your initial thoughts on that?
I mean, I definitely agree in terms of like big money grabber names. Him and maybe Cesaro are probably your two that could get a lot of eyes initially.
Right.
The problem is, if you look at what people who don't watch Impact say, not all of them, this isn't everybody, but a lot of them, first it was, I can't find them on the channel they're on. Right. Well, then they were on Twitch and YouTube. And then it became, they don't have a good enough roster. Well, then we got Alexander and Moose, and we added the Good Brothers and the Briscoes. And then it was, they're not in front of a live crowd. It's all taped. There's no crowd. Right. Everybody else has a crowd. They're empty. Well, then we got crowds back. And then it was, their production value isn't good enough. And then their production. So people continue to move the goal. I don't like their announcers. Well, now we got great. So people just continue to move the goalposts. So you could get in Windham, and what's going to happen is people are going to be like, he's really not that good anyway. Right. And that's what's going to happen is, so yes, there would be some people who would tune in, just like when we got Kenny Omega, there were some people who tuned in, but a lot of your people just hate on Impact because it's become the cool thing to do.
Easy thing.
And it's the easy, simple LOL TNA stuff. Right. And I don't know if there's anything outside of a slow build slowly bringing in people over time.
Right.
There's nothing that you're going to do outside of buying AEW and putting Impact on TBS
Right.
that you're literally going to come out and be able to be like, and people are just going to magically turn and say, "Oh yeah, I'll watch Impact now."
Right.
So
So moving the goalpost is a big thing as far as pleasing other people, because there's just some people we're not going to please. But as far as with the Bray Wyatt thing, yeah, he moves it for a little bit. But the thing is it also, and this is a point I brought up, is it also relying on just simply the small spike in ratings or large spike in ratings, that being your basis for if it's a success, is that silly as well?
I mean,
Or not
I
silly,
think
but
yeah,
short-minded.
I don't know if those spikes in ratings can be maintained. You'll get a big spike and then it's going to drop. It's like
Right.
the Raw after WrestleMania always jumps up and then they just start dropping because people are like, "Nah, it's really not anything great." So I feel like the better option is to put that money into multiple different divisions so that when people do tune in, they're like, "Oh wow,
Yeah.
every match is really good. Every division is really good," instead of just, "I'm only here for Bray Wyatt, and then once he gets old, I don't care anymore about the rest of the show."
Right, which in today's day and age, old is like that. So,
Yeah.
but that's actually a great segue to the Mike Johnson report that I wanted to talk about. So they PW Insider, they get questions in a mailbag, just like us, obviously, but at a greater scale. And this one was about the legacy of Impact and what it would be categorized as, or how he would determine, the legacy of Impact. But then after that, they asked, I don't know if it was a rebuttal, it was two different people. They asked him, do you think Impact will ever return to the level it was, / can you see them going on the road extensively, da-da-da-da? As far as live, I don't know if the person meant on the road in general, because obviously they're doing that.
Yeah.
But Mike's response really was something that I think, you especially have preached on this, and going into the Bray Wyatt thing. Is slow and steady still the right race for Impact Wrestling? Or is going all in on that one guy before maybe you do have all those divisions full up, or whatever you perceive as your ducks in a row, to swing and possibly miss depending on how you garner success?
I mean, for me, I feel like when they originally started, they were doing it slow and steady. They were building things up. They got good production. They had a TV deal with Spike. And then all of a sudden they tried to put all their chips in, push all their chips in and go all in. And when they went against on Monday nights against Raw, and they got slaughtered. And it almost destroyed them as a company because they tried to bring in a lot of people,
I think that was
Hogan
more,
and Bischoff, and like there was a lot of things where they made that big push to try and be like, let's be big, let's show that we're just big. And it almost destroyed them. I feel like slow and steady, there's nothing wrong with a slow build up.
Yeah.
Slowly getting to the point where you're like, okay, we're in the black. We're not losing money anymore.
Right.
Okay, now we can invest that in this and this. And then slowly getting to the point where you're like, okay, now we have enough that we can, instead of filming 5 episodes at a time, maybe just do 2.
Right.
And then maybe you get to the point where you are going live, but
and that's the thing, is that they have gotten to the point where it's about 2 or so, but having that one live show like we used to on Pop or something, or Spike one, would be nice. And he states the same thing, which is it did almost break us last time. I have a little argument as far as getting slaughtered in Monday Night Wars, because if you actually look at it from what the perspective of what the business side of it should have been, which was Spike's all along, which was like, hey, let's get some buzz on Mondays, let's drag them over to Thursdays. Unfortunately, you have little meat syndrome being and big egos playing a part, and thinking that Monday we were going to go destroy. But hey, at least we tried, right? So I agree as far as that, but I think Bray and Cesaro, those guys you do swing for if you think you're ready to take that next step. If you can get your money back and then some. At this point, are we there? I don't know.
And that's what I don't know if you would make your money back.
At this point.
That's my thing. Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Like if you were to spend the money to get them, I don't know if they're going to bring in enough buzz. I feel like you're better off working with New Japan and bringing in those guys
Yeah.
than you are and getting the buzz from there. Like, get the buzz from Ace Austin killing it at Best of Super Juniors. Get the buzz from, other people going over there and doing things, and then someone being like, oh, okay, well,
Well,
that next big match is Ace Austin versus
Takahashi,
whoever they
yeah.
decide to do it
Yeah.
in Impact for his. Okay, like that's the buzz we should be going for, not the we just signed a big name type of buzz.
The instant gratification
Yeah.
is just, it's not our company, and it can't be. To sustain its level of success and then grow it can't, unfortunately. But speaking of outside buzz, bringing that in and taking those little big things and running with them, we talked about it off the show just briefly, but I didn't update the video of champions there, but I did update the depth charts. Rich Swann is the new DMC. We talked about this on the main show just because we like, and this as well, I believe, about just Rich being that work rate champion that had that world championship success. Maybe, we could get into that as far as the match with Kenny Omega and so on. But we both love Rich and believe in his abilities.
Yeah.
But I think he's the perfect next step, because with this title, and I can't stress enough, is you can't buy lineage. It just doesn't happen. You could say all day the most prestigious belt. And look, it's only been around for a little bit. And if we erase it to start something new, we have to start over again. No matter if you give it to, Josh Alexander. The point is the lineage now is Grace, Cardona, Swann. Okay. My question for you is not only is this the right way to keep building this DMC title, because people are taking a little bit literal that it needs to only be defended on the internet first, but which I don't think D'Lo, having the European title and defending in New York is any different than someone wrestling at a house show with a TV title, but I digress. Or
someone having the TBS title and the show now being on TNT, TNT, wherever they are. Either way,
but it works. Yeah, it's eye of beholder. But my question with that is this another? People are already getting scared of. Is this just a way to write off Cardona? Is this, obviously Brian Myers is a PPA now. His contract expired. He's a free agent. What is your initial thoughts on this? And is this the right way to go?
So with Rich winning, I don't think it's any issue. I mean, Cardona had the title. I was checking on that for 127 days. Grace had it before that for 90.
Yeah.
So I mean, you had decently long. I think around 100 days is a good amount of time for a mid-card title. If you kind of set it around, everybody has on average 100-day reign. I think that's a good time frame. Obviously you can do longer, but I no issue there. I think with Rich, I think it's a good point. He just lost his tag team partner. Right. He no longer has a tag team, so he's someone who has the prestige of being a former world champion.
Yep.
You add that in there, he's a good character in general. So this isn't just random dude, go get him. So I like that. And I think it also sets up Cardona and Myers, either Cardona and possibly Cardona and Myers, for a different push. Yeah. So you could possibly, assuming that Josh Alexander is going to beat Eric Young, if you're looking for a next challenger, Matt Cardona easily fits in there. If you're looking for next challengers for the tag belts, major players easily fit into there. And you don't want your another champion you're not going to have outside of him cashing in his title for a shot, like with the X division, you're not just going to have your digital media champion be like, you know what, I'm just going to join a tag team and go after that. No, that's what you should be focusing on, is your DMC title. So if they have any types of plans to do anything else with them, I definitely think it makes sense, especially in a tag division where major players are major players in that tag division. It makes sense for him to drop that title and then them go after the tag belts together.
Yeah, I agree with you. My twist on it of optimism is always a conspiracy, and we'll get into that transitions to our last topic. But I thought it would be interesting that Slammiversary is coming up. Cardona did just get injured at GCW. I'll mind you that, or bring that up. But also, he is the NWA champion. TNA, 20-year anniversary. It would make sense if if Jeff and him did a little something with the NWA title. I think that'd be exciting for Slammiversary. But
possibly.
I'll breathe it into existence. But speaking of taking a little and running a mile with it, so I told you this, my reasons for the question, and I'll pop this up so we can give them a little insight into what we're talking about. So we know, obviously, the Good Brothers contract was a 2-year contract, runs up at Slammiversary, allegedly. Could they have signed an extension and that's it? Sure. Same time, Briscoes aren't advertised after Slammiversary. The Good Brothers are advertised after Slammiversary. Now, I don't know if that's a sign that Impact has signed the Good Brothers. I think there's something to play there with New Japan. The Briscoes, for me, along with the Good Brothers, are neck and neck when it comes to the 5 categories in which we rank these people, being card status, character development, mic work, ring work, and name value. Taking that aside, and obviously I'll let you get into that a little bit as well, is there any other factor that really comes to play here if you say Impact has to look at this, unfortunately, and look at this and say, make the unpleasant decision of which one can we keep, which one should we keep? Is there one that you favor over that? And 2, are there any things that make it a little more sway besides these 5 things that sway you towards one or the other?
Yeah, so first off, I like to bring up that it bothers me that in our picture, we have the Briscoes on top and the Good Brothers on bottom. But in the actual rankings, it's Good Brothers on top and Briscoes on the bottom. Well,
first of all, when you start doing the graphics, we'll talk about it.
I know. I mean, I should have said something when we were doing the graphic, but I didn't think about it.
And 2, the Good Brothers only are a picture up to their chest. So I had to put them on the bottom, and I didn't. Anyways.
Okay. So, I mean, I think if you're looking at them in a vacuum, personally, I think the Briscoes are the better option. Obviously, they're a fresher act than the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers have been there for a long time. When you think of matches, for the most part, we've seen the Good Brothers verse a lot of these people already.
Right.
We've seen them be champions. They've been so like, what is there new for the Good Brothers to do? On top of that, although I like Carl Anderson, I think the Briscoes, you can split them up and have them go on their own. Where, like I said, I think you could do it with Carl. I don't know if with Gallows, if he could just go be a singles competitor on his own and go for a title. Like I think, I really think you could split the Briscoes and send them after titles if you wanted to. So I think in a vacuum, I also think that because they're newer, you get that buzz from people who aren't watching Impact, who may be like, you know what, let me tune in and see. Let me see the Briscoes. I want to see the Briscoes. I can't watch them on ROH anymore. Where can I watch them? Oh, I can watch them on Impact.
That's fair.
So I think in that case, I would give the edge to the Briscoes. But outside of that vacuum in the entire universe that is wrestling, I think the Good Brothers connection with not just with New Japan gives them the edge on. If I had to pick one tag team on the other, I would choose the Good Brothers because clearly somebody in New Japan likes them. They continue to work in New Japan. Right. They're back with Bullet Club, who's one of their major stables, so they clearly like them enough to put them in there.
Always with Rocky. Tight with Rocky.
Yeah. With them being a part of Bullet Club, if they're working in Impact, and obviously you have Chris Bay in there as well. So but if you have 3 members of Bullet Club, it's more likely to get other members of Bullet Club than if you just have Chris Bay and New Japan has to say, hey, can you just send us Chris Bay for a storyline? Right. So I feel like with their connection with New Japan, they allow you to bring in more people from New Japan. Now, obviously, I don't know the Briscoes may have a connection with guys in ROH, maybe friends with guys in ROH that currently aren't signed. So you may be able to have the Briscoes get you Dalton Castle and Bandito and, all those other types of the people that you need or that you would like to sign from ROH. But I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I know the Good Brothers have a good connection with New Japan. We've seen it.
Right, and we've seen that we've reaped the rewards and the benefits
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, no, that's where I'm headed as well. As an act, as far as go out there and entertain me, I could watch the Briscoes all day. From the silliness of their commentary work to the, Josh versus, and once again, I agree with you. I think I give Doc a lot more credit than you just did. But Carl, I agree with as well. But Jay versus Josh is just something that I think needs to happen. Jay Drilla versus the C4 Spike. So I agree with you in that sense. As far as the outside and the overall look of it, I don't think Impact can go without New Japan. And if these are our bridge to New Japan, then we can't go without them. As far as the other side of it, yes, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. I think the other part of it is, and this is where I'll end off on a guesstimate from you. Ideally, we would keep both. But Tony has been starting to mention the Briscoes more. Their fan base is started to mention the Briscoes more. Is it something, obviously, we don't know with Warner Media? We won't speculate. But after Slammiversary, so we're talking June 19th, what are the odds both of these teams are in Impact still? To you, if you had to guess.
I mean, if I'm being, I'd put it 75%.
Really?
I don't think they would have given the Briscoes the tag titles and have them. So you said it's June 19th?
June 19th, yeah.
So another 20 days-ish?
Right. Less than 2-3 weeks.
I don't think the Briscoes are going to hold the tag titles for 45 days and then drop them. Like that to me just doesn't, like, you don't put the tag titles on the Briscoes only to have them drop them in 2 months.
In a normal situation, I agree. In a PPA where you wanted to get them and get the quickest buzz off them, right away, I think you give them and you get that hot shot thing of it. I don't like it because that tends to mean you give them what they want. You've exhausted it, so where do you go from here? A long title run would be nice, but they're going to face the Good Brothers at Slammiversary. The odds are, I think this is the deciding one too, if I'm not mistaken. Does this split the record between them? Because I thought the Good Brothers maybe had taken it. No, the Good Brothers
they beat them at Multiverse of Matches.
So that put it at 2-1. So if the Briscoes win here, it's 2-2, which that means we're inevitably, up for one more. I don't know, man. I agree with you. I hope 75%. That sounds good to me. I don't know if that'll be the true number, but we'll roll with that. We'll end off on a good note there. But as always, it's been fun, my friend. Once again, you guys can catch us here 9:15 live premiere on YouTube every Sunday right after the TNAIW podcast. And you could catch our other shows, Talking Bloody Incense. I don't even know, my lord.
It's a new one.
Talking Bloody. I don't even use incense. Talking Bloody Nonsense. Oh, what a day. Every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST with Craig and Nixon. Great show, man. They keep killing it. And they also have TBN chats. Latest guest was Simon Hill. Check that out. Great talk. And then, of course, every Monday you could check us out with Go-Go Power Rankings. And then Thursday you could check out Impact Wrestling with BTI at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then 8 p.m. Eastern for Impact on Access TV. Max, you got anything to say to the people until next time?
Go Heat.
Oh, man. Go Warriors?
Right. I mean, that's who I'm rooting for in the finals, but I'd rather them play the Heat than
the
Celtics.
Me too.
So I need the Heat to win.
Same. Go Knicks. All right, guys. See you next time.
Later, guys.